Hey everybody, it's Party Elite, here to talk to you about a new game that released recently, Cossacks 3. I might be doing a Let's Play or some live stream sessions in the near future, but this video is mainly to give you an overview of what to expect from the game and why you may or may not be interested in it. As the name suggests, Cossacks 3 is set in the 17th and 18th centuries of Europe, and is in fact more of a callback to the original game from the early 2000s. A beautiful game, Cossacks 3 is a traditional style isometric RTS. Players of Age of Empires and similar will see a lot in common. I just want to address quickly the situation with the current Steam reviews before we go further into this conversation. The mixed reviews are the unfortunate result of some small bugs that, from what I've seen, have been very quickly patched. It's actually quite impressive to see how many hotfixes were released in such a short time to quickly fix the minor bugs and iron out other issues. So, don't mind the Steam reviews so much, especially if the only flags being raised are bugs and crashes. You'll almost never hear me say something like that, so let it be a representation of how impressed I am with the support the developers are giving the game right away. With that aside, what does Cossacks 3 give you? For one, there's a campaign mode. It's decent in length, divided into various parts with multiple chapters within them. The campaign is delivered in-engine, with camera pans, unit movement, and pop-up dialogue boxes. Nothing special, but perfectly fine for an RTS. The writing in the game, outside of the occasional linguistic curiosity, is great. It's got a charming sense of humor, and that adds a layer of entertainment. The campaign is fun, but the heart of the game, in my opinion, is in the random map battles and online multiplayer. The random map battles are simply skirmishes against the AI, and online battles are the same, except with other players included, of course. You start each match with a handful of peasants. Step 1 is to build a town center, from where you can recruit more peasants, who then go on to collect a multitude of resources. Wood, stone, food, gold, iron, and coal are essential resources to build buildings, recruit units, research upgrades, and interestingly, provide ammunition for your gunpowder units. That's right, your gunpowder units can run out of ammo if you don't manage your resources well. Beyond that, you research technology, head towards the 18th century, and build an army to vanquish your foes. When your opponent and yourself are evenly matched, a game of Cossacks can go on for an hour or 45 minutes. Higher tier buildings are heavy in the requirement of resources. Multiples of the same building cost more as they go on, and many of the upgrades are extremely expensive too, including the upgrade to enter the new era. This means you won't necessarily be racing down the tech tree, instead pacing yourself so you don't get wiped out. They are long games, and that's when they're most fun, going back and forth with your skirmishes, upgrading your base while maintaining a sizable army, and ultimately, engaging your opponent correctly are all important aspects of the game. With the option of up to 8 players though, it can get quite fast for the first to fall, of course. You'll notice I said sizable army, so let's take a moment to discuss what that means. Between pikes, spears, muskets, cavalry, and artillery, you can field absolutely massive armies. Population caps in this game are significantly higher than Age of Empires ever was, so you can see engagements spanning multiple 120-man regiments, all firing and charging down the field at the same time. An interesting mechanic is this Regiment System. With 36, 72, or 120 soldiers of a type, you can recruit an officer and a drummer, as long as you've got an academy, to organize them into a proper unit, marching in formations that give them various advantages. All important in appropriate situations, and they add an element of tactical thinking to the game. This, combined with the relative rock-paper-scissors mechanic, will find a home with Total War fans, and will be especially welcome for fans of both Total War and Age of Empires. Unfortunately, the units don't necessarily stay in this formation as battle progresses, often resulting in what looks like a schoolyard brawl of highly trained soldiers. With that said, superior tactical brawling will give you the edge, coming in from flanks, outnumbering the enemy, and using the right unit types are essential to success in battle, as are organized unit movements such as fire and retreat or kill boxing and the like. A few other issues revolve around peasant management. When you're attacked, you can't order them to retreat or hide away at the town hall, so the enemy army can start enslaving and converting them pretty easily. Essentially, this cuts off your supply chain with minimal effort, and that adds an interesting dynamic to the game. It also adds some tension, though it's a little bit beyond my suspension of disbelief. Plus, buildings can also be captured by the enemy, and I find that to be a more reasonable way to put in a supply chain mechanic. If you lose your mines, you can recapture them with your own soldiers, of course, but if you lose all your peasants and now don't have the food to recruit more to gather more food to recruit more peasants, you're stuck in a cycle of doom. With that said, one of my favorite aspects is the metric ton of variety to be found in the game. Each faction has its own art style, architecture, and units are beautifully crafted, and it's an absolute joy to play as different factions as a result. Beyond that, from a mechanical perspective, different factions have different units, implying different strengths and weaknesses, especially since some key units can be easier or harder to get depending on who you opt to play as. This variety adds a lot of longevity to the game, and I can see myself sinking countless hours. With all that said, I also have to say that the AI is extremely unforgiving. I played my first few games against an impossible AI, and it was devastating. As a game masochist, though, I quite enjoy the challenge, and I'm not sure if it's the result of the AI cheating or just flawless management. Either way, it means there is always a challenge even if your buddies abandon you. So, should you get Cossacks 3? Well, if you enjoy tactical battles, are a fan of pike and shot, miss the good old days of Age of Empires 2, and are looking for a game that can scale from skirmish to epic battle, all while providing a fair challenge, yes. Absolutely yes. The game is around $20 and is well worth every penny. And if you get it early, you also get the Early Bird Edition, which provides you with significantly more content. The game has some issues, minor bugs and reports of crashes as I mentioned before, but they're being taken care of very quickly and I haven't faced any major problems myself. If you'd like to see more Cossacks 3 on my channel, let me know. Right now, I'm thinking I might do a campaign playthrough or livestream some skirmish battles. Questions, concerns, opinions? Share them below. Otherwise, thank you for watching.